In this next video, we're going to talk about opacity, which is really cool and also kind of quick, honestly. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit here. I'm going to change this fill from this crazy long gradient just to being back to being red, just so it makes things a little easier to see. And I'm going to move this up a little more central because I think it was a little too far down. So maybe I'll move it up to 150 instead of 300. All right, we got our big red rectangle in the middle over here. And let's actually go ahead and put these two guys over kind of inside of that. So 100, 150. Let's move each of these to the right by 50. So I'll start at 100. 50 to the right from here will be 125. And let's move them both. Well, is that actually enough? No, we're going to have to move them both down a little bit. So they're both at 70 in the Y and 100 in the Y. So let's start at maybe 100 in the Y and then 120. I forget the offset between the two of them. It's not even nearly far enough. Right, because this is starting at 150 in the Y. It has to be at least 150 to start. So let's go 150 and then 170. And now you'll notice, our other boxes are completely covered by this guy. Maybe I'll even go a little bit further down. Maybe 160, 180, and I'll move these even further right. 150 and 175. So, like we said before, things get covered, right? This rectangle gets placed first. Our salmon and RGB rectangle gets placed first. Then this rectangle from line 3 gets placed on top of it. But then this bigger rectangle here gets placed covering everybody. Okay, well, I guess we could fix it by changing the order so those others come on top, but maybe I want this to be like a little window, and this is where opacity comes into play. I can now add other optional property to our rectangles called opacity, and opacity refers to how see-through something is. Opacity has to be between 0 and 100, just like how RGB has to be between 0 and 255, otherwise you'll get an error. But you just say opacity equals as your other optional one, and if I want it to be kind of halfway see-through, we'll say 50, and now, well, we're kind of halfway see-through. It made the red less crazy because it's less, what's the word? I don't know, vibrant, because it's partially see-through and you can see the shapes behind it. If I go ahead and make this maybe 80, let's see, is that going to make it more or less see-through? Looks like 100 opacity means it's totally opaque. You can't see through it at all. So as you get closer to 100, it becomes less see-through. As you get closer to 0, maybe we make this an 8, it becomes almost totally see-through. You just barely see a ghost of an image here. And these others almost look like they're on top of it. It's so see-through. That's it for opacity. I guess I'll mention one other thing that I just didn't mention anywhere else over here. Nice way to make a background is to make a rectangle, make it at the coordinates 0, 0, 0, 0, make its width 400 and its height 400. And then maybe we want to have like a blue sky in the background. So I can make the fill equal blue. And now we got a whole background over here. Look at that. Notice when the opacity is so see-through, the red kind of gets overpowered by the blue over there. If I make this opacity, maybe I'll make it back to 80. That red's going to come back in a bunch, and now it's overpowering the blue. And then this color, this stuff behind it, that's like optical illusion stuff over there. Like you can barely see this before. When I was on a white background, you could see it all right. I'll make this a 50 or maybe a 40, not 340. It'll give me an error there. Just to run it. Yeah, look at that. Now it's kind of like halfway, so the red and the blue go together, makes like a purple. These get kind of tinted from being behind it. Oh, let's do that one other thing. Let me get rid of my background there. And I'm actually going to move this, let's see. I'm going to move this red one. Oh no, did it go back? Good, thank goodness. I'll move this one up a little bit. Let's make this at like 125. And now when I run it, you'll see, so maybe it's not super easy to tell, but this underneath here definitely got more red because it's behind that red thing. Where up over here, it's less red. So like that opacity it's kind of imposing its color on the things behind it. give you like a stained glass look as you're looking through it. That's all I got to say about opacity. It's a pretty quick one. See you in the next video.